Hey everyone, I'm Jen.
And I'm Sean.
And we watched a movie.
Yeah, we did.
It is called The Midnight Sky.
I like how you whisper it. It's very dramatic.
It feels like you should whisper it.
It's true.
So this is one of the year's most hotly anticipated releases. It will be on Netflix December 23rd.
That's coming soon.
It's
going to be a busy Christmas.
It does kind of line up a lot of big titles. I mean, that is how it works even on a regular year. The big studios leave their Oscar baity type stuff for Christmas Day releases. Limited Christmas Day releases. So don't think you're going to actually get to see everything you want to see. Except this year you will, because Wonder Woman's online, The Midnight Sky is online, Soul is online. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a busy movie watching Christmas break. Aren't you lucky?
Yeah, we're all lucky.
Like, not lucky that we have to, you know, eschew our loved ones, ignore them, stay home with the people we just live with. But lucky in that we will have things to pass the time.
Yeah.
And like pretty extraordinary things. I'm excited.
I'm as excited as I ever
You are
get.
never excited. And you're even less excited than non-excited right now. I get the vibes. I get those vibes, yes.
Okay.
All right, so this movie, starring George Clooney, directed by George Clooney, based on the wonderful book by Lily Brooks-Dalton. The book is called Good Morning Midnight. Slight difference there, so I didn't have to whisper it. Starring George Clooney. I mean, I could have just stopped there, right, ladies? Although
he's very grizzled in this one.
He is grizzled and he's underweight. Probably unnecessary since he had so much beard. It was maybe hard to notice.
It was.
But he lost like 30 pounds for the role, enough to hospitalize himself just 4 days into the shoot with pancreatitis.
It wasn't worth it. I mean,
no.
It never would have been worth it, but you don't even notice it in this movie.
That's the thing. I hate to even say it because he went through so much. But I'm kind of like not into people losing or gaining weight for a role. Like, don't do stuff to your body, your real body for a role.
No.
Like, when Charlize played the woman with one arm, she did not cut off her arm. You know what? CGI. That's all you need. We just saw a very young and familiar face on the season finale of The Mandalorian. And we did not go back in time to get him.
We don't think. We're not sure.
Okay, I'm pretty sure. Sean is not as smart as I am. But anyways.
You look young.
CGI!
He's looking good.
He is looking good. George Clooney does not have the same sparkle in his eye because he's so hungry.
Which is, like, kind of fits with the plot of this movie.
Yes. I mean, in the movie, he's not dying of hunger, he's dying of cancer.
And exposure.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things coming to get him. He thought it would be the cancer. It still might be the cancer. But basically, he's like a top scientist, possibly sometimes an astronaut. He is up in the Arctic conducting research when, like, things seem to fall apart very quickly.
Super quick.
It is the year 2049, if I am not mistaken.
I think you're correct. Blade Runner.
Okay. Good to put that on perspective. I just remember thinking several times in the movie, like, George Clooney in this movie is like not even a millennial. Like he's
super young.
Yeah, like he's Generation Z.
Yep.
So I feel like he didn't really think about that and how he shouldn't just be acting like George Clooney. He's acting like, you know, a 50-year-old man today.
Yes, he is.
He's not acting like a 50-year-old Generation Z kid.
No.
So I did think that several times. But anyways, that's who he is. Horrifying to think. George Clooney, born this century. That's not actually the scary part of the movie, guys. I just was having my own existential crises when I was watching this. And you probably will too. Because like I'm trying to say but keep interrupting myself, things seem to fall apart very quickly on Earth. And of course...
Super quick.
super quick, and yet we've had all this warning. Yes,
Yeah, but
global warming, there's a crisis, a huge climate crisis. So yes, obviously there's been like 30, 40, well no, at this point there's been 50, 60, 70 years that we've been talking about the climate crisis, and yet it all falls apart very quickly in the end.
It does. Yeah.
So that's, we really should be taking stuff more seriously now, because when we finally get that warning, it may not be much of a warning.
No, it may just be like pandemic style, where suddenly you're just in your house, waiting to die.
Okay.
I mean, that's not exactly what happened with the pandemic, but that's what happens here.
He's the good news guy around here, believe me. So George Clooney, like I said, is a scientist at some remote Arctic location, and when we meet him, that Arctic location, which is populated quite a bit, is being
evacuated.
Thank you. Being evacuated very rapidly because of some event that is taking place where just, I guess, Earth and life are going to be untenable very quickly.
The air is no longer breathable.
Yes. And yet people fly home to it, which I thought was weird.
Because it was coming from the cities and spreading.
Yes, and spreading.
Spreading quick.
So the air is literally toxic. George Clooney is the only person who remains up there, and it seems to us perhaps the only person left alive on Earth.
It's possible. We don't know.
We don't know because communications go down. And so he has no contact with the world, so he can't really say for sure. And the air, the toxicity is coming. Like, he's not going to escape this.
It's not a permanent thing, that's right.
No, he stayed behind, well, because he doesn't have any family, so he was the guy who could stay behind, but also because he was dying of cancer anyways, and he thought he could run his station until the last possible minute. But if his was the only one up and running, it wasn't doing anyone much good. But anyways, he stayed behind by himself until he realizes he's not by himself. A little girl got left behind. A little girl who, I don't know if she was always mute, but she won't speak to him.
Talk.
Of course, she was living kind of on her own, hidden for I don't know how long.
A while.
A little while.
A couple of days, maybe.
To a week even.
Yeah.
So she's been traumatized. She's been left behind. And it's a tough situation. So now he realizes that there's a kid here. He's trying to get her out, but there's no communication. He doesn't even know if there's anyone left.
So he knows there's 5 people left.
Well, I was getting to that.
Okay.
Yes. But not on Earth. So he gets a signal from a starship. So knowing that the end was nigh, they sent up these astronauts to go to...
it's a moon of Jupiter, X-23, recently discovered.
Very good, Sean.
It's an exoplanet that is potentially capable of sustaining human life.
Woo. So they have been on a 2-year trip to find out what this planet can do for us. Of course. They are on the return journey. And of course, the return journey has been fraught with a lack of communication. They can't get a hold of anyone on Earth either.
They can't get a hold of not only people on Earth, but there was supposed to be a follow-up with the supply mission and then also some colonists that are on their way to this new place that they can't find either. That's
right. They are truly alone up there. And George Clooney is alone down here. And he knows that they are still they are still bleeping away out in the universe. But his satellite seems incapable of really reaching them.
They're too far away.
So he decides he's going to leave the relative safety of his station.
Well, sort of. He knows it's going to go down, though.
Sure. To try to get to another one that is hopefully a little more protected.
Because it's higher up.
Right.
So it'll both have a better signal and also be further removed from the deadly poison air.
The dying birds. Is it a great idea to do this trek with like a little girl in tow?
No, it's not.
But what choice did he have?
Well, what choice does he have?
So that's when gravity starts to meet the Revenant. Yeah. Stuff gets real out there. not only are they worried about the toxic air, also the Arctic is melting. So the landscape is changing constantly around them, under them. Blizzard-like whiteout conditions. It's awful. It's
a mess.
Freezing.
Yeah.
And in fact, they didn't even go to the Arctic to shoot this. They were merely in Iceland with mere minus 40 degree weather. But because he wasn't wearing goggles, he could do like a minute max for takes, and then he would have to go to a tent and use a hairdryer to defrost his eyelashes. We know something about that.
We do.
Certainly, anytime you go out with any moisture, this is why our northern populations don't have a lot of body hair, because if you have any moisture and it freezes, you're dead. That's very bad. And he had a whole beard full of it. Beard. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't know what that guy was thinking. He should have shaved before he left.
It was dramatic purposes.
It was dramatic! So anyways, he wants to get to this new satellite to talk to the spaceship, to tell them like, well, it's actually bad news. It's actually, nobody wants to have to break this news to them.
Don't bother coming back.
Don't bother coming back. Everything you've just done was for nothing because we're all dead and there's no one worth saving. Could the 5 of you just carry on the human race without us? Which, you know, I can't believe that anyone has ever thought that that's a good idea, because you are dooming your offspring to a life of incest.
Immediately.
Yeah. If not, you know, perhaps you're into it yourselves. Like, I mean...
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna get super messy.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So we've got George Clooney playing the scientist guy, Augustine. We've got the little girl. We know her name is Iris. That's all we know, because she still doesn't speak, guys. And then up top, in the spaceship, we've got Felicity Jones, who's pregnant in space. That's gotta be rule number 1 in astronauting, is don't get pregnant in space. What the heck?
You'd think.
I mean, they didn't even know about repopulating the world yet.
They got a head start on it.
Oh, gosh. I mean, they'd be fired if not for the whole extinction.
No one's there to fire them.
Yeah. David Oyelowo is
dead.
her baby daddy / captain. I don't know.
He is.
Then we've got Kyle Chandler.
Yeah, Coach Taylor.
Yeah, he was just saying in a recent interview for this movie how his kids like constantly ask him to stop the Friday Night Lights quotes. Apparently, he can't stop talking in those quotes either.
How
guys.
could
So don't feel bad. It's not just you.
I don't think he was acting in that series.
So he's up there, Damian Bichir is up there, and Tiffany Boone is up there. So we've got 5 humans who are saved from the mass extinction happening below. Of course, I thought it was like they didn't even grieve when they heard about this, and they all have family down here. So I don't know if it's just like a stunning moment of like when it's not just like your son died. It's like everyone. 7 billion people. Everything you know is destroyed. Don't even come back. That's a big chunk of knowledge to get dropped on you.
That's a new start.
Sure.
Your life is beginning again /
surprise.
Over.
Well, okay. Anyways, so is it a feel-good movie?
No. No. It's the exact opposite.
Sure. Just like Gravity and The Revenant, both real heavy movies, but good movies. I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the sort of alone time that George Clooney is like the last man on Earth. And all he has to keep him company are these, I mean, at this point, almost theoretical people up in space.
Yep.
So I just thought that was a very interesting dynamic, which has to be mostly mental, but...
It does.
So he is fighting the environmental catastrophe that is happening, but also his own personal fight with cancer, because he's on dialysis. Wait till you see somebody try to cross the Arctic landscape with a portable dialysis machine. Gosh,
it's not great.
Things that don't go well.
Yeah.
Yeah. even on paper.
No.
I gotta say.
Oh, he knew it was going to be bad.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. The food is bad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of peas at the end of the world, I hate to tell you.
Yep.
So, I mean, maybe actually peas are a transition to just being like, you're right, life isn't that great. It's not worth living. It's going to be full of peas. So I liked this movie. Sean, you felt
I respected
a little more
it,
tepid.
but yeah, it didn't draw me in.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
What do you think the problem was?
It's cold.
Yeah,
It's cold at the end of the world.
sure is.
I think it's pretty representative, but it just...
And yet, you have loved a lot of dystopian movies.
That's true.
So what's...
I guess those I felt like more hopeful about. And this
Okay.
one, it's really like, it's over.
And it's a little close, 2049.
It is
I mean, I know you'll
extremely
be
close.
dead, but
well, still, it's really close.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. I probably won't be around, but you will be. Mm-hmm. And that's not great for you.
No, I hate the cold. And peas. Ah! I better start training for No, they're never going to take me. I complain too much, guys.
Yeah,
And
so...
I don't like heights. So,
it's a well-made film. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it just left me like, it really is not a good situation for us. And maybe that's the problem. It's like, it's too real.
okay. I didn't find that to be a problem. I enjoy some realism. Let's talk about this like a pressing problem that it is. Greta, I see you, babe. So does George. Let's call and have a meeting. No, I thought, yeah, let's call it what it is. 2049, it's going to be too late. So we've really got a very limited amount of time.
We essentially have no time if we want to turn it around.
No, and we need to get going right now. So yeah, I think we need sort of galvanizing messages like this. But more than that, like to me it wasn't just a message. To me it was a really nice, a well-acted meditation on what it's really like the accounting you take of your life, and was it worth it? Were these the priorities I should have went with? Is this, I mean, we think about these things as we go along, but it's not until you're really staring death in the face. And more than that, George Clooney is a top scientist, so he had his fingers in the pies of all of these things. He was really at the forefront of trying to save Earth. And now he sees that his whole life's work was basically for nothing. And
yeah, he
gave
should have
up
been born
a lot.
5 years earlier.
Yeah, that's right. And he gave up a lot to get that far, and it was all for nothing. And I think just to see a man have to like grapple with that in the last hours and days of his life, yeah, it's heavy, it is not a fun watch, but I think that's very powerful. And maybe that's what we watch movies for.
Well, that is true.
To see our own, in a way, to grapple with our own mortality, our own limitations, to see how much he's accomplished, to see this huge achievement of going to another planet out and assessing it for viability and being so close. And then, I don't know, I just think that is sort of the magic of this movie, of knowing how close it came, and then it just being not quite enough. Ooh, I think that is a juicy, juicy little place to make a movie. And that's why I liked it. And
Well,
that's why he
that's
did.
fair.
So I guess it depends on your temperament.
Yeah, but you're probably right.
Well, let's just say there is no right or wrong. People will have different interpretations of this.
And I think it's worth watching. I don't want to be criticizing this movie as like a bad movie, because it's not. It just is something that it turned me off.
Ooh. And we don't want that. We have to repopulate the world.
No. Well, I'm not helping.
No, you're not. Release date on Netflix of December 23rd for The Midnight Sky.
It gets better every time.
So you guys are going to have to just watch this. Please do us a favor and check it out.
Watch
and let
it.
us know that I'm right, because I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed it in a way that's like not a super fun watch, but I think just something that makes you question your own lot in life and your choices and how we're going about this thing, because this thing that seems like sci-fi really kind of isn't. It's the extremely immediate future based on how we're going right now in our own real life.
Yes, it is.
Except for, I don't, if little Augustine has been born, I mean, he better have been
would
born.
have been, yeah.
Where is he?
Or else he's an old-looking 30-year-old man.
Well, it's hard to tell under all that
Under all
ice
the gray beard, yeah.
It is. Plus the peas, man, they're not.
They're
they
not
don't do
healthy.
a body good. Your mom lied to you. Those things.
They're gross.
No, you mush all of the nutritional value right out of them. Even the astronauts are like, no, we'll stick with our food. Thank you.
Ice cream. Freeze-dried ice cream.
Oh boy. I hope by 2049. I mean, I would hope by 2049 we've fallen past peas, first of all. Can't we do better than peas?
Yeah, let's get a microwave up there.
Oh, Sean. Anyways, December 23rd on Netflix, The Midnight Sky. You gotta watch it. Let us know that you definitely liked it, because I'm sure you will. Yeah, it's a bummer, but it's like super thoughtful and pensive and like a beautiful piece of philosophy and like a heartbreaking, not quite enoughness. Oof. Ooh, it burns. It burns to get that close. Yeah, too bad George Clooney couldn't warm his heart or his beard on those flames. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.